It's dying down now a bit, that wood stove, because it gets really hot. But I'm not making this video to speak about the wood stove, although it's outstanding. It turns this van into a bit like a sauna. But I'm not here to speak about that. What I want to speak about is something to do with the lights and all that sort of stuff. I want to speak about a company called Merlin Equipment, who, for all the darkness and disappointment and letdowns and understanding things and all that, which I now understand, Merlin have been outstanding from the very beginning in the equipment that they supplied for me in the van, and they've been outstanding. They've been as good as gold, and should I ever require anything again, they'll be the first people I go to. So let's talk about Merlin and the staff and just what wonderful people they are and what a really nice and honourable and lovely company they are. So let's talk about Merlin, shall we? So, Merlin Equipment. We'll have to go back to June 2020, so last year, when I was at a stage where I wanted to try and figure out exactly what I would need electric-wise, because I had some quite elaborate ideas. I wanted to have at the back there, where Prince is, I wanted to have a seating area. See, back there. I wanted to have a seating area under the bed. I wanted to have an Xbox with a big television and play on that with an online function and stuff, because I've got a lot of friends that I play on the Xbox with every now and then. I haven't been doing it so much recently. So I wanted that. I wanted to have, obviously, a fridge. I wanted to have, you know, if I possibly wanted to use a microwave. Obviously the lights, which would be run off of 12 volts, the Max fans, one up there, well there's two but there's one at the back as well. I wanted to have them running. What I wanted really was that if I was going to go and, let's say, wild camp or be off grid, I wanted a facility that the batteries or the solar panels would be able to charge up the batteries enough so that I could, I suppose, practically function as if it was like a house on mains electric. So I was then trying to do calculations myself. I couldn't figure them out. It was a bit complicated for me. So I decided to go on the internet and try and find a company which might be able to help me. So I went onto Google and did a search, and then a company called Merlin Equipment came up. They're based down in Exeter. So I got their number, I phoned them up, and almost immediately I then spoke with this guy called Russell Squires. And that was, I suppose, the beginning of our sort of customer service relationship that they provided, which was outstanding. I told Russell what I was doing, what my plans were, what I would like to do, and he said, oh yeah, no worry, I'm not worried about doing the calculations for you. What I'll do is I'll get back to you either later on today or tomorrow. He got back to me later on in the day, and he'd done all the calculations for everything I would require, and then even a little bit more. And then he then said, are you looking at lithium or AGM leisure batteries? And I said the ideal scenario would be lithium, but I know how expensive they are. And he was honest, and he said, we do lithium batteries. Ours are quite expensive. you might find cheaper ones, but the difference of ours is that they are new to the market. They're British made, so they're UK made, and I think they're the only UK made deep cycle lithium batteries around at the moment, or they certainly were at the time. A lot of this stuff comes from America or China, so it's nice to have some UK based and made things, I think. So I thought, yeah, I'll look into it a bit more. He also told me about their YouTube channel, which I'll put a link on to about, and then I watched some of their videos that night, and they're presented by James, who is the managing director, and he actually goes through the products, so he shows you real time what these products do. And it was that sort of hooked me in, because he runs all sorts of stuff on them in this video, and you're thinking, what's going? Power tools, a whole lot. So I said to Russell, I would like those products, what's the best sort of price you can do? And then he calculated it all up, and that's it. And obviously there wasn't very much margin, but he came up with a price for me to have all of these things, so I had to think about it. And I decided, well, that's what I want to go with. So what I went for was, initially I was thinking about 300 amp hours, but Russell did assure me that the 200 amp hours should be enough. And if he was wrong, then he was wrong, and then we would sort it out from there. But so far he's not been wrong. I've really pushed these batteries. I've been hooked up once, and that's because the place I was at, there was no solar. Basically, there were trees all over the place. But the rest of the time, I've not been hooked up to anything. I have run an electric heater, full blast, lights, power tools. I haven't quite got to the Xbox yet, but I've run everything. I've pushed them. I have only ever once ran these down to completion. I've only emptied them once, and that was a real test that I did, which was a day of power tools. And then I left the heater on. Let me show you actually. I then left this heater on all night long, full blast. And I'll go back to where they are, obviously because the van is not complete and is unlikely to be completed by me. That's where they are, so they've never been boxed in or anything. So there's the two Merlin PowerCell lithium batteries, 200 amp hours. Here is the Kisei 2000 watt inverter charger, and then just tucked away under there is the MPPT solar controller. Now, these products have done exactly what they said. You know, there's a company out there that says it does exactly what it says on the tin. These things do. They are outstanding. As I say, I've only ever run them down once, and when that happened, you know, there was all the alarms and whistles and let you know that they are, well, in fact I never ran them down. What happened was I got the alarms to say they're about to run down, but that was after a whole day, so nearly, you know, I'd say nearly 24 hours of me really pushing these batteries just out of curiosity. So what I'm trying to say is that if you want to have something for off-grid, or you want to do this van life project, or you're in the process of doing a van build, it really is worth investing in some pretty good products and some pretty good batteries. I can't comment on AGM because I've only ever had lithium, and these things have not failed me. Of all the bad times and all the inconsistencies and the dark times, I have never ever once doubted these. They have been outstanding, and what makes me even more happy about them is Russell and James and the staff at Merlin Equipment, based down in Exeter. They told me this would be the case, and they've been true to their word. They're polite, friendly, helpful. I mean, there were times when I would ring up and James would be on the phone, and sometimes I'd have a little chat with the receptionist, who sort of seemed to know me. Just a really, really nice company. And in today's day and age, where there's a lot of companies that are out for themselves and the customer doesn't come first and the customer doesn't really matter, Merlin Equipment were a breath of fresh air, an outstanding company. They've got a very good reputation. I think they've been going for about 25 years. They supply to the Ministry of Defence, police forces, ambulance services. I mean, to supply to ambulance services, you've got to be good, because if you imagine you've got people hooked up to all sorts of heart monitors, breathing machines, you can't have any fluctuations in power. So what the inverter does, the KISSE inverter they supplied, it just keeps there's none of this sort of up and down in regards to the electric. It's just consistent. There's no break in it. There's never been any break in any of this. There's never been a problem with anything. Just a really outstanding products that they supply. The batteries are British, which is a bonus for me, and the staff were outstanding. So if you think about lithium and you want to get something that's pretty good, or probably I think is probably one of the best in the world, I would go with Merlin Equipment. They have done me proud, and they've been honourable, polite, just really, really kind and attentive. And the best bit was they even shipped this stuff within about 2 or 3 days to the south of France, where I was at the time. And I think they even footed the bill for that, actually. I think that was the deal. They said they would pay the shipping, yeah. And because there was an issue with the shipping, because some companies are a little bit worried about taking lithium, because it's still relatively new product. And I got it within 3 days. They contacted me to make sure I'd got it, and things like that. Just fantastic, and you couldn't ask for any more. So cheers, Merlin. And should I ever require anything again, you will be #1, top of the pops on my list to contact. So cheers, Merlin, for everything you've done, and in specific Russell, because Russell was the guy who I spoke to, and Russell was the guy that saw me through this journey. So cheers for watching, and all the links to Merlin and their YouTube channel and everything like that will all be underneath. So thanks a lot, cheers for watching, and thank you very much, Merlin. Cheers.